Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So last time we completed up to chapter 2 is what we are on, verse 47, which I explained is one of the most, if not the most famous verse of the Bhagavad Gita, because this is what everybody has been told, whoever has had at least a casual exposure, that this is what the Gita is all about. Karmanye va dhikaraste, your right is in action only, right? Ma phaleshu kadachana, never in the fruit. So this is the central message of Karma Yoga, which will be explained in detail in the next chapter 3, which is titled Karma Yoga. Most practical chapter which you will find for direct application in your life. This is the central theme, that your focus should be on action and don't disturb the action with the thought of the fruit. Fruit means what can I get out of it? In common parlance, selfishness. What am I getting out of it? So there should not be that thought. So that fruit should not be your motive, he says. Ma karma phala hetu. The motive. Hetu means the motive should not be karma phala, the fruit of action. So, point 1, before the action, you must see what is your motive. If your motive is what can I get out of it, it's a wrong motive. So the motive has to be, how can this action be beneficial? Even if you're working in a company, how can my action be beneficial for the organization? Genuinely. Number 1. Number 2, let your attachment. See, very carefully clarifies. Because the minute you say no selfish motive, people believe then you're inactive. No. In fact, that's what the world believes. Vedanta is a philosophy of inaction, meant for recluses, old people, people who have nothing to do with the world. It's totally wrong. Sad, indeed, such a great knowledge has been denied to the youth, which would have been so beneficial, is so beneficial. So he says, let your attachment be to inaction. So tamas, inactivity. Tamas means inactivity, procrastination, laziness, ignorance. No, you need to be dynamic, alert, all the time, active. And see, the activity, human activity is not like the activity of a machine. A machine wears down with more action, right? The more miles on your car, the less you'll pay for it. Correct? It's like that. But human activity is not like that. Your body is not like that. The more you act, the more energy and dynamism it creates. You know how many people have literally saved? They come and tell me, that's why I'm telling you. Thank God you told me not to retire, not to stop action. What would I have done? You have to keep acting. Till the time the body dies due to natural old age or whatever, that doesn't matter. Till you're active, keep acting. Physically and mentally. So, you cannot afford to be inactive at all. In fact, in the Upanishads, the first prayer is that. Kurvanne veha karmani jijiv chet chatam gum sama. The Isha Upanishad, he says, may we act for 100 years, may we live for 100 years doing karma. So that's your goal. 100 years karma. You have to act. But then when you act, the problem is the action is selfish. This is rajas. So tamas is inaction. Rajas is action but with a selfish motive. No doubt you will be prosperous because action begets prosperity. But if it's selfish, you will be highly agitated, attached, full of worries and anxieties. What's the point? So the Western world is more materially prosperous, productive because they act. Eastern world is less prosperous, less productive because there's inaction. There's a tendency towards getting away from action out of laziness. Here there's a tendency to get away from action out of selfishness. Because you're selfish, the action agitates you. So every Friday you're waiting just to relieve yourself. Both are diseases. So everybody clubs Vedanta as tamas. If you're not acting selfishly, if you follow, means you're inactive. We don't want that. So nobody understands the third level. Tamas, rajas, sattva. Sattva is action, dynamic action, but performed for a higher purpose. Then you get both the benefits. You are prosperous because you're acting and you're mentally peaceful. So you know what is our most popular topic? One fellow CEO again called me the other day, Manhattan, here only. Hey, our group wants you had to have a talk. I said, which topic you've chosen? Success without stress. It is invariable. Success without stress is our most popular topic everywhere. How can you be successful? But I don't want stress because the fellows are all highly agitated. Highly agitated. They just don't know where to get relief. Seriously. All the money in the world is no use. They don't understand the cause. Such a simple thing. Nobody understands. So imagine if you just enjoy the action per se. This is my swadharma, my nature, I act. How best can I benefit others? That's it. You have no idea what will happen to your life. You will be dynamic because there's no worry or anxiety impeding your action. That's what he talks about now. The 48th and 50th verse. Samatvam Yoga. Again, famous verses where he actually tells you what life is all about. So this verse, which we did last time, I'm just recapturing because it's so important. Talks of the fundamental attitude towards action. So any action you're doing could be towards your family. How best can I serve my family? I don't want anything from it. I don't want anything in return. That's it. Now it's all selfish. My children should become what I want them to become. 20, 25 years you're on tenterhooks. Not that it stops then. After that, my grandchildren, if at all they come, should become what I want them to. Is it endless? Absolutely endless. So then you'll get a shock one day when he tells you, I want to go to some school, no? You want to got a shock. I don't want to go to college, man. It's all for losers. What? That's what they heard. One grandparent, he got a shock of it. He had planned all this. I'll do the Ivy League, you go here, there, nothing. Same desire you had for children, now go to grandchildren. Never ending. So just you do the best you can. Tyaga, that is Tyaga. Just leave the rest.
Can you please explain that this is counterintuitive? Your life's motto should be to strive, to struggle, and not to succeed.
Yes, that is a statement which Swamiji often quotes. Your life's motto should be to strive, to struggle, and not to succeed. So you're right, it seems as if you don't want to succeed. It's not that. The focus should be on the striving and the struggling, not the succeeding. That's what he means. Because it is action which is well performed, which automatically leads to success, right? Success is an effect. Remember that. Action is the cause. So if you perform the cause properly, the effect is automatic. So the motto should not be to succeed. It should be to work hard. Success will come. In that sense, everybody's motto right now is to succeed without working hard. Which is why in ancient India they deified the bull and cow. It is all symbolic because they lived that life. Those days, all the farming was done with the bulls, right? They carried the plow in the fields, whole day in the sun, rain, cold, and in the night you give them some hay or grass. So they minimum taking, maximum giving. Same thing with the cow. It gave wholesome milk. The dung was used as the best fertilizer you can ever get. So all kinds of service being done and nothing in return. So that's what your motto should be. Minimum I'll take for myself, maximum I'll help others. Now what is the motto? Maximum I'll take, minimum whatever I have to do. Even this wife of mine, minimum just to keep her quiet. Everything is minimum giving, maximum taking. So, whole thing is opposite. To strive, to struggle, not to succeed. Focus. Emphasis is on the striving and struggling. It's like your focus is on, I want to lose weight. Now, stop eating that much. Focus is on losing weight, but on not eating, no focus. How is it? It's like that. In the future, I'm going to lose. I know one lady, 10 years she's been saying, this year I'm doing it. And every year, stomach goes out by 2-3 inches. What? This year? See, on this, it's related to this. In the 16th 16th chapter, when he talks about the divine and the demonical, very interesting chapter. In fact, those qualities we do sometime in the retreat, very fascinating. Just those qualities. He talks about the divine qualities and the demonical. And when he's describing the demonical, he says their life is all about, anything good, they'll say, I'll do it in the future. I will serve. I will give. It's like some people tell me, I have left in my will. I'm planning to leave all these things to charity. I said, what about now? Now is most uncharitable. Nothing they do. It's not going to work. What are you doing now? Everything you want, I will do. In fact, they say, I will rejoice. I will be happy. Because they are miserable now. So your whole focus should be now. What do I ought to do? That's what he's saying here. Your right is in action. What do you want to do now? I will do. I will give. I will rejoice. This is typical attitude of people who don't want to do it. Shifting it into the future. If you can't do it now, you'll never do it. If you can't be happy now, you'll never be happy. If you can't pursue the path now, you'll never pursue it. Just let my child go to college, then I will pursue. It's never going to happen. It's literally now or never. However old you are, doesn't matter. So your right is in action now, never to the fruit. All clear so far? Before we move on to 48.
Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate.
Yogastha kuru karmani. Steadfast in yoga, perform actions, O Dhananjaya. Siddhya asiddhya samo bhutva. Being the same in success and failure. This evenness is yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So, see, he brings in this word yoga here, which he will bring throughout the Gita. And at the outset, this needs to be clarified because, especially here in the West, the whole thing has become a mass of confusion. So today, this word yoga is synonymous with just these physical asanas, exercises and breathing, pranayama, which are purely physical. They do have a spiritual origin in the sense the rishis of the past understood the importance of physical fitness. So if you see in the Upanishads, every invocation literally has a reference to physical fitness. Sthirairangais tushtuvang sastanubihi. May our limbs be strong in order to sing your praises. Strength for what? So you can do your spiritual exercise. Apyayantu mamangani vak. All the Samaveda has that invocation. May my limbs be strong. Protect my anga, the strength. So they understood, if you are not physically fit, how can you think of the self? So they devised this incredible system of exercise and breath control called asanas and pranayama for physical fitness in order to perform the spiritual exercises. The spiritual path consists of three limbs, three fundamental disciplines. For your body, you do karma yoga, selfless action. With your mind, you perform bhakti yoga, devotion, love towards all beings. And with your intellect, you try and understand the difference between this unreal world and the real self. This is called jnana yoga. So, you have to be physically fit in order to do the three yogas. Karma, bhakti, jnana. Now I'm clarifying. You understand? So, yoga actually means that by which you unite to the self. So, all of you should understand it. I'm clarifying the whole concept. What is yoga? Yoga comes from yuj, to join, to unite. So, what you do to unite to the self is yoga. And what is separating you from yourself, from God, from the reality is egocentric desires. And desires can only be removed through these three practices: action, devotion, knowledge. Period. Which is what this whole book is all about. But to do these practices, you needed to be physically fit. So, if in the academy, we do yoga, pranayama every morning as part of the physical fitness, along with the gym and jogging and whatever. We have a full program. I do that every morning here. But the whole world has now considered yoga to mean entirely this asanas, pranayama. Can you believe this? So if you ask anybody what is yoga, they'll say that. I'm going for my yoga class. Like a gym class. You should go. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Because it's excellent exercise. But you can't neglect the main yoga on that basis. That nobody knows. So how many of our audience are yoga teachers themselves who've gone through all the certificates, this, that, and they understood, I don't know what I'm doing. What is the... So they come for knowledge, to understand what life is all about. So the word yoga refers to karma, bhakti, jnana. Please understand that. One outer limb of that is the physical fitness, which is no doubt important. I'm repeating again. So with this understanding, now look at the verse. Steadfast in yoga, which means do not compromise, consistently perform karma, bhakti, jnana. Perform actions. Obviously, it can't mean stand on your head the whole day. All your actions throughout the day. Perform all your actions constantly. Renouncing attachment. No selfishness. No ego, no egocentric desires. That is attachment. Coming from your past desires, vasanas. And being the same in success and failure. This evenness of mind is called yoga. Now, where is that and where is what people believe? So, what is true yoga is, can you maintain that evenness, that peace, that equanimity in and through everything in life? Right? Where does your equanimity go? 5 minutes you won't take after the class. Just have to see your spouse. Why did you not do this? All equanimity gone. Correct? All gone. Don't tell me what to do. We've been married 25 years, every day. Don't tell me what. Right? But she'll continue saying next day. You must understand. Samatvam. Remember this verse. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Even. No going up, down. That is the test. Literally ask yourself. So how that happens is, when you're not selfish, you enjoy the action completely. You enjoy doing what ought to be done. So the mind automatically becomes even. Now, even if the action is a failure, you'll assess, why was it a failure? Correct yourself. Move on. Why should you let your mind be agitated? So the test of yoga is not how many push-ups and pull-ups you can do. It is how equanimous your mind is. That's it. So test yourself. How close you are. Because the self, the Atman, is total equanimity, infinite peace. So the closer you are to the self, the more peaceful your mind. Very simple. 100% peace is infinity. You've reached the self. Which he talks about in the next few verses. Sthitaprañja, who is the perfect human being. In fact, that is the meaning of Sthitaprañja. Sthita, steady. Prajna, wisdom. The one of steady wisdom. So all of us have great wisdom. But when a situation comes, you lose your equanimity. Where's the wisdom gone? So if you can have it throughout, he says you're perfect. Somewhere you lose it. You may lose your car, you'll lose it. You may not lose your car, but you lose your house, you'll lose it. You may not lose your house, you won't lose it. You may lose your family, you won't lose it. Somewhere you'll lose it. So, number one definition, samatvam yoga uchyate. Peace of mind is yoga. Clear? $49.
दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगाधनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणः फलहेतवः दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगाधनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणः फलहेतवः
Durena Hyavaram karma, far inferior to the yoga of knowledge, buddhi yoga, is action. O Dhananjaya, seek refuge in knowledge. Kripana phalahetabaha, wretched are they whose motive is fruit. See, very powerful words he uses. Kripana means wretched, fallen. So, now these verses have to be carefully misunderstood, because this is what has created that impression that spirituality equates to inaction. And that has destroyed the whole India, trust me, because this wrong understanding of action, inaction, renunciation had made the country passive, which had been an excuse for invaders for thousands of years to loot and plunder at will. Until today, the country suffers from that problem of inaction. So Vedanta never said then if you read this per se, you will say this is what they're saying. Far inferior to knowledge is action. So don't act. Go get knowledge. Sit in your room. No, he's not saying that. He's already explained in the previous verse, you must act. What he's saying here is, you must act with knowledge. Buddhi yoga. See how one little thing you misunderstand, how people can, and people who don't know anything, they take one verse here, one verse there, without the whole context, and confuse the whole thing. Suppose you ask somebody who doesn't really know, how is this saying this? Because Gita talks of action. He'll quote some verse which you won't know. Then what you will do? Krishna says action, knowledge. And you will say, yeah, must be true, must be right only. Because you don't know Sanskrit, you don't know this thing, you don't not read it. So it's a mass of confusion. Anashita karma phalam karam karoti tat sarmasi saviyata. Are you challenging me? No, sir, I'm not challenging you. You are very Ishavasyamadam sarvam. I have sat for weddings. The fellow doesn't know what he's chanting, that priest. Because nobody knows. He doesn't know, I know. Simply any verse from anywhere. What will you know? He just needs his money after he has to do that thing, poor fellow. Will go on. So it's like that in spiritual education. You go to some fellow, he will chant some great verses here, there. In Upanishad, he said that, no? Yasya matam tasya matam yasya matam tayedaha. Oh, correct, he must have said that only. So you got to understand now, you're getting a chance, right? Verse by verse, chapter by chapter. So what he's saying here, carefully understand. You have to act with knowledge, directed towards the self. Inferior to that is action. He's saying, wretched are they whose motive is fruit, performed selfishly. Very simple. If you understand the basic concepts, I've told you. So he's saying, seek refuge in knowledge. In other words, do not act without the right understanding. Don't act based on your impulses. Don't act based on what others are doing. Understand what you're doing. You see how one word can be misunderstood. I'm trying to explain to you. Because now first time he's using yoga, action, knowledge. Till now he didn't use these words. Wretched are they whose motive is fruit. If you act selfishly without this knowledge, you're wretched. How much ever you gain in this world, you will be unhappy. And not only that, those desires will torment you. They are insatiable. You'll end up wretched, literally. See, they were saying in an article they cover, some of these, it's interesting, these reporters, how they get these ideas. So they were interviewing this lady, all kinds of depression and all that. And then that lady took them to her closet. Handbags in the boxes on the top shelf. In the boxes, not open. And he just casually asked, how much is that? 300,000. I've never heard 300,000. I've heard a designer, okay, 5,000, 10,000. He asked then, how is it 300,000? No, it's a handmade diamond to open it. I have to open it. One diamond goes here, one diamond goes then. Like that, you can put up the cost of anything. 13 of them unopened. I have never used them. See, even that they will not give to help the world. What they don't need, this is wretchedness. This is how you become. I don't blame them because they don't have knowledge. I don't blame anybody for anything. Please understand, I'm not criticizing. I'm saying the mind is like that. So there's Haiti, there's so much problems going on. Very sad country all the time. Never had peace, So earlier, there was this dictator, Duvalier, who used to run that country. Torment the citizens. The fellow used to force the citizens to donate blood. Their blood. There's a forced drives. And that blood used to go to the US because the shortage of the hospitals here in his plane. And that money used to be used to buy $50,000, $100,000 those days of flowers for his wife. Why? Because I can do it. Kripana. Phala he tava. So, this is extreme cases. I'm talking about in your case. Don't say him. Go to your basement today. How many things which you've not used, will never use, still you will not give it. Wretched. Literally. Go to everybody's homes, things and things and things. How many boxes is this? So at least they downsize. One couple I know, so recently they downsized. I don't know how many trucks must be of things which they never use. At least they understood. Let others have it, So I told you, periodically all of you have to do that. Otherwise you'll end up like this. Don't blame these people. You yourself will end up, if you're not already. Whatever I don't need out to be given away. How many shirts you need? 20? Huh? Saurabh, how many shirts you need, man? Now you won't know what to say. No, liberal calculation for your work. I know you work and still not fired. That's all it means. And then for your casuals and your sports, put all that put together. How many shirts you need? Shirts and t-shirts combined.
Not more.
Huh?
20. Then 20.
30?
20.
20? Okay, 20. Very frugal. Shirts and t-shirts and everything, casual, everything. I say 30, no, what you're thinking so much? 30. 20, because now he's scared if I say 20. Okay, 30, all put together. Let's say 10 office t-shirts, 10 office shirts, 10 t-shirts, casual, home wear, this thing, and 10, what is this? Party, friends, whatever, social, right? 30. You may say 40 also, I don't care, whatever you think. One person may say 15, one may say 25, one may say 45. But if you go and count today, how many are there? That's all I'm asking. All of you. Why, if you say liberally I need 35, Why are there 355? That's all I'm asking. Why? So that extra, please give it. You don't need it. I'm not asking you to give something you need. You don't need it. You will still not need. This is wretchedness, attachment, grabbing, insatiable urge. And you'll have 355, and next time you go to the mall which you didn't want to go, buy one, get two free. 358. That's how it's become 350. Incredible. Incredible. So what should you do? 35, out rest. Now you want to change. One shirt has become old. You go and buy. So buy that shirt. The old shirt out. Will not happen. Trust me, it will not happen. So like that, if you scan your life, how much accumulation. This is the wretchedness. Acquisition, insatiable, whose motive is fruit. So Vedanta is never saying you should not have what you need. This is what people believe. Oh, I should not have anything. I should have two shirts. This is what... no. You decide. Each one is different. It's like telling a person you should eat 2 pieces of bread. How can you tell a person? A 6'5" fellow will eat 2 pieces of bread. A 4'5" will eat 2. Okay, he'll say I'm fine. It depends on what you are. Physically, materially. You can't ask the president of a country to go in a car. I mean, they don't have the time for that. They need a jet. Government provides it. Morning they have to be here, afternoon here, evening here. They're going to go how we go. So you can't say a jet is luxury. It's a necessity for that person at that level. If you're at that level, it may be a necessity. So I can't tell you, is it right, wrong? So that you have to judge for yourself. But having judged, why don't you stick to your guns? You won't. Always there's something. But that house is better. There's never any end to that. Which house is perfect? The 2 celebrities, they're fighting and the neighbors there. Both huge estates. Now, why do you even look at that fellow? No. Something when they'll go on fighting. That tree came into my property. If you can't be happy where you are, you'll never be happy. Remember that. Yes, Chitra.
Gautamji, I wanted to circle back on the example you gave about the clothes, just using that as an example. I see that you mean that overall in various aspects, but you're using the clothes as an example. So I'm going to continue with that. I'm often called a pack rat because I don't really discard things. I'm still wearing the same things from like decades, but it's not because of attachment to it. And in my immediate network, they have this philosophy of take only as much as you need, but in doing that and embracing that philosophy, they're constantly recycling. They're buying, they're throwing. It's like a use and throw. So their closets look pretty organized, but they are actually consuming much more because their needs keep changing and very rapidly. How do you balance that mindset?
No, first of all, you forget about others in your circle.
No, this is in my own house.
Yeah, they are others. No, they're not you. They have nothing to do with you. Whether it's your husband, you have no control over how he lives his life. So leave them alone. Point is, you are saying I am using old things. I have nothing against that as long as they are useful to your requirements. Yes, why throw it? But suppose you say an old shirt which you can wear at home, can you wear that for an appointment with your boss? You can't. So it depends on the individual person and their requirements. Now, others, they have desires, they will say anything to justify those desires. Whether it's recycling, whether it's this, whether it's that. You use your intellect and come to a conclusion what you can do best and stick to that. They are doing what they are now. Let them ask me, then I'll talk to them what they are saying. So people can justify their desires anyway. Yes, I have a desire for something which something else is perfectly okay what they're using. They have a desire for something else. They'll say, I don't want this. Now, which is actually perfectly fine. But you can't ask them why you're doing that. That's their desire. So leave them alone. You go as far as you're appropriate. You're right. I have certain clothes that I wear which are very old and certain ones which are not appropriate. So I have these kurtas which I wear for the class. I mean, some of them are old, some which are not appropriate, you have to get new ones stitched. So that periodic review is done. Our life is very simple. Just put this on and go. Now, if you can simplify, standardize like that, it would be a different life. But I mean, you're all in situations where you can't. You go to work like this. Straight they'll what do you call, frisk you if a terrorist has come. So don't try all these stunts. Lot of questions on this. Lavanya?
Sorry, I don't have a question on this, but I have a question on when you say that we should be going to work with the motive of serving. Sometimes I have experienced that because I am a teacher and I go to my college and I teach, and sometimes I don't know how to put the boundary where the students' demands become too much, and it kind of burns me out after a point.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know, like when I'm going with the motive of serving, whether people can see that and try to take advantage of you.
Common question. So many times that people have asked and I've answered. You got to use your intellect. Letting people take advantage of you is not service to them. It is disservice. You are encouraging their selfishness, their laziness. See, a person you know is lazy, he doesn't want to do the work and he's pushing it on you. You should say no. That is not serving him. That is encouraging his laziness. Versus another person who has a genuine emergency. His son is home sick. He's a diligent worker. He doesn't take advantage. He's asked you for a favor one day because his son is sick and he needs to. Then you should serve, right? So this is where you must understand all the good people in this world do not use their thinking at all. That is why they're trampled over. You must be good inside and use your intellect to manifest that goodness appropriately. So nobody understands this. So all your students know this goat has come. Chalo, take full advantage. Because she comes like a great Vedanta. I must serve you all. That's what I learned. So change your whole outlook. From tomorrow, they should fear you. Not in a literally. And know that you're fair and you will serve them when required. That should be their outlook towards you. Lakshmi, you had something?
Yeah, namaste, bro. Yeah, namaste. Yes, I have a question. When you said we have to be happy where we are right now, then where is the place to growth?
Place to grow is, like I said, whatever your goal is, you're putting in the action to achieve it. That is happiness in the present. It's not that you're not growing. but that you're not dependent on that growth for your present happiness. See, for example, we are always trying to expand our outreach to the world, right? In fact, we do, as many of you, maybe you also, you saw this class on Google, or you saw it on Facebook, on social media. How did you see it? We actually, there are people who support this work. They enable us to pay for these outreach. So we are doing it. It's not that we are sitting doing nothing. But my happiness should be in trying to teach you to the best of my ability, not in how many people are listening and what. We're still doing that. But in the present, I'm peaceful. I got this knowledge. Let me teach whoever is interested. So your hold on. So your focus should be on the action. This is what it means. You should learn to be happy where you are. You must learn to enjoy the action, which takes you to your goal. Not all the time thinking, I don't have the goal. I'm lacking something. This is not the way. Now go ahead. Yeah, go ahead now.
So say I want to, just for the sake of discussion, say if I want to have 50 pairs of clothes, that is my dream. But then I have only 10 pairs now.
Yeah.
So to get to reach my goal, I need to work more. If I'm happy with the 10 pairs what I have right now, then there is no motivation to reach my goal.
This is a different thing you're asking. If this is what everybody believes, that you have to be miserable now to grow. This is Rajas. That's exactly what I told you. We are growing. We would like to grow, but for the sake of others. This is the whole difference. So your growth in life, your goal in life should be to grow, to be of service to others. If that is your goal, you will be peaceful now. You will enjoy the action now and grow. But if your motive to grow is because you're miserable now, show me one fellow who's happy, whose misery is not there.
I want to grow. Before I can grow for other people, first I want to grow for myself.
No. Then you keep growing for yourself. This knowledge is not for you. How can you? This is what we are saying. You think of yourself. There's no first or second. You think of yourself. You will never stop thinking of yourself. Finished. So
if I'm hungry, first I need to eat before I can serve others.
Yeah. To serve, you see, if your attitude is to serve, you will not be hungry. Finished. This is what nobody understands. So this is the wrong attitude. Nobody is saying you should not make a living. You work. Who's saying you? See, now you're saying, the next thing you'll say is, if I don't have oxygen, how can I serve others? We're not saying that. Your attitude should be to do that. Nobody is saying not to have your salary to live or whatever you have to do. So, if the attitude is to only work for yourself, that will never end. Please understand that. So, if you have an attitude to serve, you have to make your living. Nobody is saying no to that. Go ahead and do that. Why are you miserable now? You see the difference? Right. 50.
बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृतदुष्कृते तस्माद्योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम् बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृतदुष्कृते तस्माद्योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्.
United to knowledge, one sheds here both good and bad deeds. Therefore, devote yourself to yoga, skill in action. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Very interesting. So in the 48th verse, he says, Samatvam yoga uchyate. Peace of mind is yoga. And here what does he say? Skill in action is yoga. So if you have this attitude, again coming back to this question which was just asked, what about my needs? Nobody is saying your needs should not be met. If you have an attitude of service, of working for something higher, your focus is on the action. Your mind is peaceful, you're able to act. When you're able to act properly. When you're able to act properly, you will be successful. So in addition to your needs to survive, that's not what we're talking. Your goal should be a higher goal. This will be taken care of. Because you will act productively, skillfully. So what happens when you are selfish? Your mind is agitated. It is all the time worried about what's going to happen to me. Will I achieve? There's always this anxiety of the future. So you can't concentrate on your action. Action suffers. But when you are working for a higher purpose, 48th verse, your mind becomes peaceful. Samatvam yoga uchyate. When the mind is peaceful, you can concentrate on your present action. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. When you can concentrate, your action becomes skillful. So you see it everywhere. Ask yourself. You're acting, right, in the office. How much of the time is your focus on the present action? Hardly 30. If you are successful, 40% of the time. Rest of the time, past, present, going for breaks, tired, don't want to work. So imagine if your focus could be on the action, where you'll be. This is what he says. So how that comes here? United to knowledge. One sheds, which I will explain. Of course, this whole thing has to be explained. I'm talking about the two fundamental principles. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Peace of mind is yoga. Skill in action is yoga. Correct? So Roxanne, we'll take up your question next time because we're out of time today. Or you can send an email. We'll take it up on Wednesday if that's what works for you. And next week, today it's 50th verse, 54th verse is Sthitaprañja, the perfect human being. So if you have any friends or people you've been wanting to get them introduced to this knowledge, this would be a good time next week because we are starting who is a perfect human being. One of the most elevating portions of the Bhagavad Gita is verses 54 to 72 of chapter 2, which we will most likely start next week. Okay, so keep that in mind. Yeah, we'll see you on Wednesday. Hari Om.